What's going on, everybody? It's your boy C-Zar, and we are talking about OnyxCoin today, XCN USD. It is the 28th day of November. Here we are sitting at about $0.0055 right now with 8 hours and 57 minutes left in this day. Hit that like button, subscribe. Thank you all for being here, and let's get into it, okay? Let's see here. What was it? We were just looking at Chain just made a post saying, at Chain, we're reimagining legacy systems. Chain here, if we click on them, you can see they've got a, just so we're aware, because somebody, I made this argument with somebody that I know in the real world. We were talking about how I think that Chain, all these bullish things going on with Chain, all these partnerships and things that are happening with Chain, is good for OnyxCoin. And somebody said, how can Chain, what's good for Chain be good for OnyxCoin? I'm like, well, they're the developers behind OnyxCoin, and or at least largely, I think. He's like, well, that doesn't mean that what's good for Chain is good for OnyxCoin. But look at Chain here, the very beginning, when we're on Chain. What's their pinned comment about? Right? What is this, with 144,000 followers, what is this pinned comment about? Right? Chain is all about OnyxCoin. What's good for Chain, the institutional partnerships or any kind of partnerships that they make, will directly reflect positively for OnyxCoin. OnyxCoin is the layer that Chain is using to do all their onboarding. Anyways, XCN. Just looking at that there. This little discussion in the beginning was just really inspired by this post, which honestly is nothing. This is kind of like a meme of a post. Like, cool, great, you're reimagining legacy systems. Isn't everybody in crypto, right? Like, that's like cool, right? And then same thing here. Future-proof your business. What do you mean, future-proof my business? Maybe that's what they want you to ask, though. What do you mean? And then you click on chain.com, you figure it out. I don't know. But even simple little posts like that, it just inspired me to bring up the fact that, again, this very big account on X here, their pinned comment is all about OnyxCoin. And Onyx itself does not have that many followers in comparison, but 60,000, whatever. That number fluctuates a lot, by the way. I think there's a lot of bots. But anyways, XCN here, starting off at a kind of casual pace because, well, we haven't moved. We're at the same price today that we were about a week ago, literally 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 days ago. On a 1 hour time frame, if we're looking at this here, we have literally moved sideways. Come on. Literally moved sideways. It's kind of interesting what's going on here. I mean, let's just look at this real quick. We don't typically move flat like this for too long, right? Like here, we moved flat for a good bit from October 22nd until really the 29th, and then we moved down, right? We've been moving sideways now since the 24th. It's the 28th now, so in the next couple of days, we should make a move, hopefully to the upside, not to the downside. But we don't typically move sideways like this for too much longer than we have already, right? Maybe another couple of days, maybe another like 3 or 4 days at the most, but we should be looking for a breakout pretty soon. I'm hoping, again, that it comes in the form of an upside breakout, not a downside breakout. We are still in a downtrend, so it's important to consider that if we are going lower, because we are still technically in a downtrend, right? Lower lows, lower highs, that's what a downtrend is. I'm just going to draw it right here. Screw the magnet. Screw the magnet. We're just going to do it like this. The lows that could be anticipated would be something of about 0.00415 to 0.00362. And at the end of the day, nobody wants to see any coin that they're holding drop in price. But at the end of the day, if we're looking at this here on the weekly time frame, oops, maybe on the daily time frame, didn't realize I was so zoomed out. That level, those levels in the fib, the next low point that would likely provide support, interacts very well with prior areas of resistance here, and even support back there. So it's not ideal. Nobody wants to see their coin drop in price, but it's not that bad. It's not that far away. I'm not saying we will go down here. I'm just saying if we do go down, if I'm wrong and this is not the low, that's where the low will be. That's where we will find support, and it will be immaculate support. We should see a massive recovery in a very short amount of time. Typically with these kind of like, I want to say parabolic. It's almost like parabolic, but to the downside moves. Whenever you recover, it is a V-shaped recovery. I fully expect that OnyxCoin from here will, whenever it decides to start moving up higher, it'll just basically teleport to 1.3 to maybe even 2 cents, somewhere in that area, we should make very short work of that. It should take like a week or two. It shouldn't take much time at all. That's my thoughts. It turns out to be a 1-year process just to get back up to here. We move up every single week screen, but it's a 1-year process. That'd be so terrible. I guess that'd be good. You're getting good APR. I don't know. Anyways, looking at the 1 hour time frame again, zooming back in here. Assuming we don't break out to the downside, where might we go to the upside? If we look at this from a high, relative high here, on the 22nd of November to the low here, oops, that's not what I meant to do. The next high point could be anywhere from 0.0073 to 0.008. But again, when we break out, when we start moving up higher, we are somewhat anticipating prices to just basically teleport all the way up to 1.3 cents or higher, okay? We should see like a very direct move. You might find significance at various levels here, and maybe that's what we do. Maybe we get a little fake pump. We stop somewhere in this area. We come back down, just like we did back here. Maybe that's what happens, but you know, in that sense, 0.073 to 0.008, I think are important levels to consider. But in the sense, the grand sense of where we are and what we're going to do, I mean, really the thing that we should be focusing on most is this very likely V-shaped recovery that would take us, you know, above 1 cent. Likely above 1 cent, maybe even upwards toward 2 cents. We'll see. Looking at this on the 4 hour time frame. Do we even use our indicators? It's actually the indicators. The reason we didn't use the indicators on the 1 hour time frame is they're not going to help us. They're all neutral, and the price action's new. It's not going to help us. 4 hour time frame, probably the same. Probably won't help us, but let's just see. I mean, the RSI is neutral to its core. I would say it's more bullishly postured, but it is neutral to its core. The stochastics are bearishly implied, and the MACD is neutral but bullishly implied. So neutral, 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 bearishly implied versus 2 bullishly implied. I guess that's better than it is worse, but it's not really much to go off of. A very minimal amount of volume here, and typically that means that we are about to break out one way or another. Okay, just because we've seen these consolidation phases, these sideways phases last longer than this, not too much longer typically, doesn't mean that we can't break out at any moment. I mean, by the time you guys watch this video, it could be tomorrow. We are really starting to break out one way or the other. Hopefully it's not to the downside. Hopefully it is to the upside. It might be another week. I mean, if we were to consolidate like this, it could be another week that we consolidate, but soon enough, I don't care if it's by the end of November or sometime early in December, we should be making a move that is rather miraculous to see. Looking at the daily time frame here, the MACD is crossed green. That's nice to see, but we do have higher highs in the MACD with the oscillators while providing lower highs here. That's hidden bearish divergence. Stochastics have gotten tied up at the 50. That's not necessarily good. The RSI, there's good things and bad things here, right? Good because you've broken out of this downtrend here, right? Lower highs, you've broken out of that. That's nice. Good because even though you rejected the 50, you're at least finding support at the 40. That's nice as well. Bad because there is an overlying range right here that it seems that we're still in. We could be finding resistance here and potentially going back down to the oversold zone. And a move down to the oversold zone from here would probably take us back to our lows, which again isn't problematic. But who wants to see their coin drop in price? Maybe we come down, we form a double bottom. Maybe we come down, we form a lower low. If we reject here in the RSI on the daily time frame, if it's just like these other times we go to the oversold zone, we probably form bullish divergence though, another drive, and that would implicate that we are very near the low and ready to move up higher. Or do we break out of this trend? Just as we broke out of this trend, do we break out of this one? This little trend, right? Big trend, little trend. The break of the little trend resulted in a move that gave us about a 25% pump. I wonder what kind of move we'd get with the break of this big trend that's lasted really since July. I'd be curious to see. Typically downtrends, if you've watched the channel over the past 3 years, you know, typically downtrends in the RSI and in the oversold zone with bullish divergence. We have both. And this is the first interaction with the upper part of this trend line after having that requirement met. It's not a requirement, it's just an ideal situation, right, to signal that the low is in, right? Until you have bullish divergence, you're in the oversold zone, it's very possible that your downward structure continues. You're likely not going to break out of it here or here or here, but now there's a very solid chance that this is when we do break out of it. Maybe we come back down and then we break out of it later, but the point being that in the reference of this whole downtrend, we are at the ass end of it, at best, right? if not the hair end, right to the hair, man. Looking at this on the daily time frame, though, there are some bullishly implied things in the charts. I just don't know if I'm seeing anything that suggests that we're going to rip right now, right? Once we get into the overbought zone in the stochastics, once we get overbought in the RSI, once the MACD crosses above the 0, we should see some fireworks fly. And if things happen in the way that I think they could, I mean, we could see the MACD above the 0 in the first week of December, if not sometime in early December. That'd be my expectation. And the last time that we had that happen, we had a nice solid pump here when the MACD crossed above the 0. Time before that, we had a very solid pump here, 226% in 5 days. And then the time before that we had that happen, well, we did a 20x in 2 weeks. So there's all kinds of potential here with the MACD crossing above the 0, but that won't happen if the stochastics and the RSI don't get to the overbought zone. And it doesn't need to happen right now. Maybe we reject, maybe we come back down, we get oversold, we get a double bottom or a slightly lower low, whatever. Or we just break out from here. I don't know about you guys, but I've had enough of this downtrend. Whatever, if we go down, you know, what's new? It's not new. It's not going to hurt my feelings, right? It's not ideal. But at this point, I think we've sold off so much. The reason why there's no volume is genuinely who's left to sell. I mean, at this point, who is left to sell? If you haven't sold already, who's left to sell? Unless you bought the lows and it's not doing what you thought it would do, maybe you have a stop loss here, who's left to sell? And even then, even if you did buy the lows, it's probably not much in consideration to the whole supply. There's only buyers left, right? All the sellers are gone. Anyways, I got nothing else for you guys. Hit the like button, subscribe. Thank you all for being here. Weekly time frame, we have bullish divergence on the MACD. Bullish divergence, little double bottom on the stochastics. Very oversold on the RSI. I am curious. I do want to look at the XCN BTC chart just one more time. I just like to monitor that MACD. Thank God for KuCoin, man. We wouldn't have an XCN BTC chart if it wasn't for KuCoin. Yeah, bullish divergence on the stochastics and bullish divergence on the MACD. And we're not building bearish momentum. We are down. I knew we were down this week, but we're not building bearish momentum. It's dying off, so that's good, right? Soon enough, I mean, this literally says any week now, any day now. It could be next week. It could be 4 weeks from now, but soon enough, we will be recovering and pumping. I got to go deal with my 3-year-old. She just woke up, so hit the like button, subscribe. Thank you all for being here. I'll see you on the next one. Take care. Bye-bye.